Hey, welcome back to part 2 of my front porch makeover where I redo this screen door. Alright, so here is where we started with the screen door, lots of rust, and here is where we finished. So let's jump into how I did this. As you can see, lots and lots of rust, modeling, and a lot of metal damage. I started by removing the screen door, and I actually tried to remove it from the actual hinge, but the screws were completely stripped out, so I ended up having to use a hex head and just removing the hinge from the door frame. I set up an old flat sheet I got at a thrift store over some buckets in my yard to try to catch any of the dust and things that would happen from scraping this. I also planned to paint it here and wanted to protect my lawn. It was a nice easy way to get a paint station all set up. I used a wire brush that I just got on Amazon, and I scraped away a lot of that flaking paint and old rust. I know that you can use a sander and sandpaper and make this completely smooth, but my goal was just to get it not flaking anymore. And as you can see, there was a lot of it. Next, I went in with my favorite primer, Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer. This stuff is amazing. It covers the rust so well that it doesn't show through when you do the other layers of paint, which has not always been the case for me in the past when using spray paint. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of texture from the rust on this piece, but I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, and I was okay with that. I went ahead and covered the entire thing as evenly as I could with this Rust Reformer paint, making sure to get all of the edges and the in-between spaces, and then I flipped it over and did the other side too. For my top coat, I chose Rust-Oleum Flat Protective Enamel. This is the Stop Rust brand, which also is supposed to help with rusty bases like this one was. I chose the sheen flat because I wanted to try to hide some of that texture that was left over on the metal. The more flat the sheen, the more you're going to hide imperfections. The higher the sheen, the more they're going to show up. And here is what it looks like. The only downside of using a flat sheen is that sometimes dust and things like that are a little bit harder to clean off. But I love the way it looks. I will link my blog down below where I have laid out all of the costs for everything so far on the porch. And next up, I'll be showing how I redid this mail slot and these railings and tackling the rust there. So don't forget to subscribe and come back for part 3.